Most people think that Formula One drivers are just a bunch of rich guys in fast cars making lefts and rights, but they're actually some of the most elite athletes in the world. And the UFC has about 700 fighters on the roster. NFL, it's almost 1,700 players. But Formula One, there's only 20 drivers. And the consequences of making one mistake in any of these sports will put your health at risk. But a crazy fact is from the 50s to the 70s, 2 out of the 20 Formula One drivers would die every year. Of course, it's safer now, but being an alpha male is just a baseline requirement of being a Formula One driver. It's the same thing with combat sports. And the training Formula One drivers do is very unique, but there's 3 things that they do that'll help martial artists out a ton. So one thing that I see F1 drivers do that I think martial artists should do more of is training their reflexes. Formula One drivers obviously need really good reflexes, so they do a lot of drills to train them. And of course, with combat sports, reflexes are just as important. But I feel it's not as common in MMA training. Like a lot of other people, it never actually occurred to me that your reflexes are something you could train and improve on. And there's a lot of money in Formula One, so they have big, expensive machines to work on their reflexes, or they pay trainers to drop tennis balls for them. But I'm not Bruce Wayne, so I got something called the reflex ball. Tons of fighters use this thing. It's just something quick you can do for 5 minutes when you get bored or need a break from work, and it's actually a lot harder than it looks. And I got mine from Hayabusa for $20, but you could make a DIY one for $3. I'll link this video in the description below. And there's obviously a lot of other things you could do to train your reflexes, but I really like this because it trains you not to blink when you're getting punched, which is super important in striking. Next thing is neck training. What the fuck? Why is there balloons? When Formula One drivers are going almost 200 miles per hour and they make a turn, they experience something called G-force, and it's sometimes up to 6 Gs, which means that when they have a helmet on, they're basically feeling 90 pounds of force against their necks, and they have to make about 1,000 turns per race. So that's why when you look at any Formula One driver, they usually have a huge neck. And in combat sports, it's just as important. You basically use it as another limb when you're grappling. And in striking, if someone punches you and you have a weak neck, your head will kind of whip around because your neck can't stabilize it. And then it will cause your brain to basically like bash against your skull, which causes a knockout or causes you to get wobbled. Whereas if you have a strong neck, when you get punched, your head will kind of be able to stay in the same place and your brain won't crash against your skull, so you'll take less damage. That's why if you look at some really successful boxers like Mike Tyson or Anthony Joshua, both of them have huge necks. Also, having a strong neck is really good for things like aesthetics and your posture. I talk about the other benefits of having a strong neck in this video that I'll link up here. I'll also put in the description. And I think most professional fighters do some sort of neck training, but at the MMA gym I train at and at the MMA gym I work at, I feel like not enough people do it. So in one of my early videos, I explain how to train your neck without any equipment. So make sure you check that out if you're new to training your neck. I'll put that video in the description below. Now, the last thing is visualization exercises. I see a lot of Formula One drivers do this, and in Dr. Andrew Huberman's podcast on how to learn skills faster, he explains that visualization is proven to help. Although he did say it's not as good as practicing the actual sport, one crazy fact about visualization is that if you visualize yourself doing something like sprinting, the muscles that involve sprinting actually get activated. So visualization is perfect to do when you have an injury and you can't train, or if you're on a plane or something and you still want to get better. And even when you're shadowboxing, a bad beginner habit is just to throw a bunch of random punches and combos instead of actually imagining someone and visualizing someone in front of you who you're fighting. So visualization helps out a lot. And I'm going to link a video in the description below on a video about visualization. And I also have a video where I summarize Dr. Andrew Huberman's video on how to learn skills faster, and I apply it to martial arts. So check that out if you think it would help. Again, everything's in the description. So I got the idea to make this video when I watched the F1 movie. I saw them do all 3 of these training techniques. And I just wanted to leave you with one last suggestion. While walking out of the movie theaters after watching F1, I told my friends I was with, damn, that was actually a pretty decent movie. I enjoyed it. But my friends were like, what? What are you talking about? That movie was hella good. Oh my god. And it probably was better than decent, but it's just I've been spoiled when it comes to good racing movies. Because there's one that's in my top 3 movies of all time, probably top 2, if not number 1, and that's Rush. This movie is actually based on a true story about Niki Lauda's and James Hunt's rivalry, and I just think it's a movie that defines the quote, absolute cinema. From the music to the cinematography to the character development, just everything was good about this movie. But another reason why I'm suggesting it on this channel is because if you watch my videos, you're most likely a person who's trying to achieve some sort of goal and you're probably overcoming challenges. At least that's the kind of person I make these videos for. So I just think that you'll find that Nicky Lauder's and James Hunt's story really resonate with your journey, and you'll probably find a lot of similarities between the two. So make sure to check it out if you haven't seen it. And if you have, do me a favor and vouch for me in the comment section that when I say it's a good movie, I'm telling the truth. And one last bonus thing that I see Formula One drivers and martial artists do is journal. When I watch the GQ Top 10 Things I Can't Live Without videos, I see that both the Formula One drivers and the martial artists usually keep journals. And I've journaled for multiple years now. And as someone who used to play football and is now competing in martial arts, the training and all the stuff that comes with being an athlete does get stressful, and journaling has always helped me out a ton. Also, having stress is just a part of the human experience, so I think journaling is something that would help everyone. I actually have a video on journaling that I'll put in the description below. Again, it's one of my early videos, so it might not be the best quality, but the information is still there. But as always, if you have any questions that you think I could help with, drop them in the comment section below. And I see that people watch my videos from a bunch of different places, so if you do comment and you're okay with it, just let me know where you're from. I'm really interested to know. But if you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe. And if you're not training at a martial arts gym, I made a step-by-step guide on how to join one, and tips for your first day and when you do join. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.